Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. My name is Dominic Dinardo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aforza. I'm very excited to talk to you today, along with my good colleague Candice Mueller, our leader in product marketing, about how to accelerate margin control. It's going to be all about giving consumer goods companies, food, beverage, consumer healthcare companies, the controls they need to protect margins in 2023. So there is a lot of material to get through, and this is going to be a punchy webinar. We're going to keep you excited and engaged. We're going to do a little bit of intro. We're going to talk a lot about this margin problem and why it's been exacerbated so much today. And then we're going to talk about how we can use innovation to control margins, a customer success story, and then talk about your margin success. So let's get into it. Right, very quick introduction to Aforza, just to give you the sponsored content, if you like, at the start. Aforza is completely dedicated to consumer goods, food, beverage, consumer healthcare companies. That's what we do. We're a software company. We produce software that helps you protect your margins by helping you plan, promote, visit, sell, deliver. So think trade promotion management, think retail execution, think digital asset management, all across that spectrum, so that you can support your direct, your indirect business models with real-time segmentation, full-blown promotion execution, and all the way right through to proof of performance in the execution, whether it be online, or whether it be e-commerce, or even when you're offline and disconnected from the internet. To do this, we built on the shoulders of cloud computing giants, the world's greatest CRM platform, Salesforce, many ex-Salesforce people, myself included, in Aforza, but also we used Google, the power of Google Cloud for number crunching and for like extreme storage requirements, and full-blown mobile capabilities across Apple and Android. And we'll talk more about customers, but we have customers, I think we say about more than 30 countries, really all over the world now, from the United States to Saudi Arabia, from the United Arab Emirates to Portugal, from the United Kingdom to South Africa, from Indonesia to Belgium, all across the world. We've got companies now, great companies like Glico, Transmed, the world's largest Procter & Gamble distributor, great brands like White Mackay, Brewdog, companies everywhere. But let's get into the content. So one of the things I want to mention is how we are partnering with the Promotion Optimization Institute. There's a great analyst. They do a lot of work analysing not just Aforza, but other vendors. If you're interested in the topics we're talking about today, about revenue growth management, enterprise planning, retail execution, you want to look at these reports. And they're going to be running a summit in Dublin, I believe, in May, and Aforza will be there together with many other vendors, actually, our partners, our competitors. It's going to be like an industry conference. We're planning to like really do a lot around this event and meet customers and do workshops and things. Please, if you can make it to Dublin, which is a great city to visit, come in May. So, what are the three business pains we're focused on today? Well, really they fall into three major categories. Number one, topic of today's webinar, margin erosion. Number two, missed revenue opportunities. And number three, ineffective trade spend. And so when we talk about margin erosion, this could be everything from uncontrolled discounting happening in the organization. It could be about poor pricing and product placements. It could be actually related to no visibility for what's actually happening at the point of execution, point of sale, and blind to competition. So there's lots of reasons why margin erodes, and we're going to talk about why, in this webinar specifically, we're going to be talking about why we see a real problem in 2023. Now, related to this is missed revenue opportunities, and this is a real fundamental problem in the consumer goods industry. And really, it can be boiled down to quite simply, are your products in the right place at the right time? Is the shelves empty? And how do you know you've got this covered? All right, so this is like a perennial problem. And of course, it doesn't help number one. Problem number two exacerbates number one. And number three always exasperates number one, right? Ineffective trade spend. This is all about your promotion ROI. You know, the average consumer goods company, well, if we talk about the top 50, probably spend between 20 and 30% of revenues on promotions. Billions and billions of dollars. And then if you look at the analysts, like McKinsey, 70% of that spend has no ROI at all. So if you're looking for margin erosion and margin problems, your ROI and your TPM It's like a big thing. There was a lot of three-letter acronyms here, right? You notice that? Pattern of threes, three problems, three-letter acronyms. Maybe it's all related. But why is it worse now? Why is it so exasperated? Why is everybody trying to solve their promotion execution issues, their margin issues, all around the world now? How did we get to here? We didn't. we've put a lot of thought into picking these slides, right? This hurricane, this massive weather event here. It's kind of like, we feel like for many consumer goods, for food companies, for beverage companies, consumer healthcare companies, you guys, we feel, you're kind of like the unsung heroes here at the center of this storm, because you're in the middle here of dealing with all this stuff. And, you know, if we cast our minds back a little bit, like, you know, to 2020 with COVID and the global pandemic, it's kind of like old, feels a bit like old news. And as I'm presenting, I think, oh God, this again, right? Like, I know we've had enough, right? But bear with me here. This was 2020 and it went on for like, you know, a couple of years really. And there's knock-on effects, wasn't there? Because we all saw it. There was supply chain disruption caused by this, you know, because people can't go to work, they're ill, or whatever was going on. Supply chain was a massive issue all around the world. And then with like perfect timing, unfortunately, with the dreadful events with our first serious, serious war in Europe for a generation, which didn't help. Of course, that precipitated in many parts of the world an energy crisis. So you've got the supply chain issues, you've got an energy crisis, and all of a sudden, you know, when demand outstrips supply, you get this inflationary effect, which we start to see everywhere. So what happens? Well, governments start to do things to react to inflationary events, and the way to control inflation is to do interest rates rise. We see that across the Americas, across Europe, the United Kingdom. We've seen this everywhere. And what happens when you start to raise interest rates? Well, the thing I learned in the last few months is like what happens is suddenly you've got a new phenomenon, a banking crisis. We saw this happen at Silicon Valley Bank, at First Republic, at Credit Suisse, and it seems to be, at time of speaking to everybody, it seems somewhat under control, but there's issues there, right? And I guess the question I have for all of you is, and the next thing will be, I don't know. Maybe things will get better. But here's the funny thing about this chart. Even if things get better, it's just more change. It's more disruption. Demand might go up again. Maybe, you know, inflation, interest rates come under control and suddenly consumer demand is back. And all of a sudden the merry-go-round starts again. So I really feel, and when we look at this, we think about the margin problems now, I really feel that the consumer goods industry really is in the eye of the storm. And I mean, hats off to everybody in this call who has to face this every day, because I know, honestly, ladies and gents, everybody, I know it's not easy. You're squeezed between the inflationary problems, supply chain problems, what the consumers expect to pay, the retailers. Like, no industry is affected like consumer goods by inflation in this challenge. It's more susceptible to margin problems than any other industry. And actually, this chart you're looking at now, this is from Accenture. This is not just my opinion. This is like a thing, right? You know, you guys really face it more than anybody else. And the three things you probably asking yourselves every day that you need to know, like, what channels am I operating on, and how do they respond to promotions, and with what products? I need to know that now. What channels are underperforming and eroding margins? Exactly which outlets, where? And then how do I get feedback faster so that I can actually do something about it, right? How does that happen? And you probably, you know, if you think about everything I've just talked about, you're probably asking this more than ever before. And you see, it's a bit like, it's not like in this industry.
Could you try again?
You could try again. Thank you, sorry for interrupting my webinar. It's not like people in consumer goods companies don't get this, right? I know everyone understands this. There are people, there are processes, there are teams, there's Excel spreadsheets, there's stovepipe solutions to do every little thing on this chart, you know, to manage distributors, to think about budgets and funds. There's probably a process for route planning and disputes, or how I'm going to do inventory and stock. I know that exists in your company, I know that you probably have somebody or something or a spreadsheet or a process or a stovepipe system, but the challenge you've got is it's just kind of all there, and it's somebody's running around like crazy trying to stitch it all together to some sort of coherent strategy, right? And that's why when we look at this, the crack slide, this is the problem. This is what you're facing because, you know, you're doing planning, you're figuring out these promotions, you're doing a bunch of stuff at headquarters, and it's all there in the ivory tower. Sorry, that's maybe a little rude. I don't mean to say it like it's an ivory tower, but it's really more about no matter how hard you try, it's separated from the retail execution, the order capture, the deliveries, and the stuff in the field, and all those legacy systems that people worked really hard to figure out how to make mobile and do stuff like over there. And you see, when these things are separate like this, what happens to your profit margin? It kind of falls between the cracks, doesn't it? That's what's going on. This is what we're facing. So what do you need to do about this? Really, there are three things you need to do, and they're kind of obvious. Hard to do, but obvious. Connect your planning with execution. Ensure pricing and discount controls are in place across every channel. You'll be amazed about this one. Like, what I frequently find customers, even in the Americas or Western Europe, where actually discounting is something that's kind of like managed by, you know, the rear view mirror, where what happened last month, what was the average selling price, not proactively forward looking. Like, it's kind of crazy actually, not consistent across every channel. And then thirdly, you need this real-time transparency, right? You need to know what is working or not everywhere in real time. And if you don't have that today, you've got to really ask yourself why, because you need it. So let's get into this accelerating margin control. And we saw all that chaos, that organized chaos that we live in today, but we in Aforza have figured out how to take this stuff and carefully compartmentalize it so it flows end to end in real time. This is a really, really huge breakthrough. And whilst, like, not everyone, we'll talk more about how Aforza customers, you know, implement this software. Not everyone tries to do all this all at once. The good news is you have a path to doing this and success and getting this end-to-end visibility very, very quickly. So this is going to work not just like in straightforward, you know, direct field sales capture. Like, it's not beyond just linking your retail execution with your trade promotion management, which is a fundamental thing everyone's got to do. But beyond that, what we're thinking about in Aforza is your direct and indirect channels. Both of them have to work, right? Both of them. And the way we've cracked this is to think carefully about how we can prioritize customers, how we can segment them to see where the profit margin is, how to make sure that they've all got like consistent paths to pricing and promotions, how we know the performance, this proof of performance, is it working? And the payment cycle. And of course, because all of this is topped and tailed by real-time reporting and insights, there's a constant feedback of improvement you can do to manage your margin control in these very, very challenging times. Now with that, I'm going to take a little break here. You probably think, thank God, Dominic, stop talking. With that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Candice Mueller. Candice is going to give you a demonstration and bring it all to life. Candice, what's the scenario we've got for everybody today?
Absolutely, Dom. So it's a pleasure to introduce everybody today to Karina and Lucy. And we're going to start with Karina. She is a field rep for Delighted Life Brands, and we're going to see how she can focus on what really matters to drive the profitability of her accounts and reach her sales targets. Then we're going to look at Lucy, and Lucy is a promotions manager, and she can actually look at field insights that are captured immediately and adjust and change the tactics of her promotions to drive promotion profitability. So specifically, what we're going to look at is how Karina can first prioritize her accounts and those activities within those accounts to help reach those sales targets and make certain that she's selling the right products at the right moment. And growing their profitability. Then we're going to see how she also has instant visibility into stock and making the right recommendations to her customers. She also has all of the relevant promotions that are available for her customers and that really meet their needs. And then we're going to go ahead and see how Lucy, who is a promotions manager, has immediate visibility into all of these insights that are being captured from the field, and she can adjust the promotion tactics to help optimize profitability. So let's go ahead and get started. So Karina sells a range of wellness and beauty products for Delighted Life brands, and she sells these directly during her visits with doctors and pharmacies. Even before Karina starts her day, her route can be optimized with Aforza segmentation and route planning. This really ensures that Karina and her colleagues are focused on the accounts and the activities within those accounts that are going to be the most profitable. Karina starts her day using Aforza's mobile app, which is completely available to her even when she's offline. And what's really wonderful about this is that it provides all of the information directly from her home screen to perform her work and monitor her progress throughout the day through the homepage consoles. Today, she's meeting with Nature's Pharmacies, who's one of Delighted Life brand's premium customers. She checks into the visit, and with Aforza's geolocation controls, she's notified that there's a mismatch in location coordinates. Now, you could put a hard stop on this, which would prevent her from starting that visit, but in this instance, we've set this up so she can proceed. We're just going to get an alert back at HQ. She reviews Nature's Pharmacy's profile, seeing that they're a very loyal customer, but they're kind of neutral on the promotions that she's been taking to them previously. The pharmacy also has a high level of footfall traffic. Back on the customer console, Karina sees visit tasks that are dynamically assigned to her based upon the account's profile. Specifically, she also sees a new promotion alert for the customer, which she's going to feature a little later on, and she also sees that she needs to place an order and review current merchandise that's on display. Karina can easily place an order for Nature's Pharmacy based on their tailored assortments, and she can go ahead and within one single screen update their desired quantities for what they'd like to order today. While placing the order, she also notices that the plant power shampoo is out of stock. So she's intelligently guided for an out-of-stock recommendation for the botanical lift line. Real-time out-of-stock notifications actually have grown the shopping baskets for our customers by over 250%. The order is also perfectly priced based upon Nature's Pharmacy's commercial agreements. This prevents unnecessary discounting that ultimately erodes margins when selling directly to customers during visits. Before checking out, Karina is also guided to check out the latest tailored promotion for Nature's Pharmacy, which includes a new value offer for 3 for 2 from the skincare line. Nature's Pharmacy is interested in the offer, so she goes ahead and adds it to the order and starts configuring it. Karina also wants to set the promotion up for success, so she shows Nature's Pharmacy the latest store display merchandise that's available through Aforza Studio. They're interested in the gondola to display the products, so Lucy wants to capture an image to share with the promotions team as to how the merchandise could be displayed on it in the store. She tags the image for the promotion team to gain immediate visibility and adds the display stand effortlessly to the order. Due to the high value of the customer, the promotional merchandise is actually discounted at 50% and added to the basket. One of the most critical capabilities for protecting margin when selling directly during visits is being able to have accurate pricing. Here we can see the order is perfectly priced for every single product, and upon checkout, the inventory is actually validated, which means that she can happily inform Nature's Pharmacy that the products and the merchandise will be delivered tomorrow. Karina captures a signature to complete the order, and she's also able to generate an invoice and a receipt for the products that were placed in the order immediately there while she's on site. Now we're going to see how Lucy, who's a promotions manager, gets immediate visibility into the insights that Karina captured during her visit. So we saw how dynamic promotions can be made available to customers when Karina was meeting with Nature's Pharmacy during her visit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see how Lucy can optimize trade promotion performance and manage spend while gaining immediate performance insights from Aforza. When Lucy logs into Aforza, she has immediate visibility into promotion performance, including its overall profitability and ROI across all the promotions that she's running. She can see monthly spend to budgeted sales volumes, and she can also monitor forecasts. She can also see if promotions are driving new sales, in addition to monthly sales revenues and top performing accounts, all within her homepage dashboard. Lucy sees a new notification for the 3 for 2 value skincare offer that she's running. And so she clicks into the promotion to monitor activity further. She easily sees the products that are included in the promotion from within the promotion screen. In the details, she actually can track the promotion funds, and she can also see the targeted segments for this promotion. And she has a complete financial snapshot. Since the promotion is not attaining the forecasted sales volumes, Lucy decides to make some adjustments to help drive the promotion's profitability and performance. When reviewing the merchandise that's on offer and how customers plan to display it, she sees that customers are liking the promotion but don't believe that they have enough marketing presence to make it successful. Then through her saved searches, Lucy can see all of the branded assets that's on offer for this promotion within a single view. She goes back to the promotion and adds the branded gondola as an additional discounted tactic with an automatic 60% discount. And she saves her promotional updates. Before completing all of her promotion updates, Lucy wants to check out the promotion rules. And she sees that all pharmacies are currently included in this promotion, which includes 14% of Delighted Life's customers. And the promotion is running consistently across all channels. With the additional merchandise that's now been included, Lucy actually further tailors this promotion to VIP customers because she wants to trial this and focus it for a little while before she scales it with this new additional merchandise. These new updates will automatically be reflected for Karina when she's visiting her accounts. Lucy can also continue monitoring the promotion closely in order to adapt it as needed. She can see if this promotion is driving incremental sales, and she can also see top performing accounts. In summary, our direct demo showcased how Karina could really focus on highly profitable activities and capture perfectly priced orders when meeting with customers. We also saw how Lucy was able to take action from immediate field insights and update the tactics for her promotions to really drive profitability. And that, Dom, concludes our direct demo for today.
Thank you, Candice. That's really, really impressive. So we saw there just how some of these facets are coming to life. We saw it wasn't all just a bunch of words. We saw real software actually doing this and showing how those margin controls could be made effective. And then one of my favorite customers I like to talk about is Distel. And Craig Price at Distel, who's the sales commercial excellence leader who's been championing Aforza's implementation there, has really done an amazing job. And there's hundreds and hundreds of users in this. It's now a Heineken subsidiary in this company. Hundreds and hundreds of users across Africa and Asia using Aforza. And it's the first time in their history they were able to connect planning with execution. And because they could now do in real time things like stock checks and upsell and cross-sell and check credit and much, much more, their order value over the course of the first 6 months of using Aforza really, really improved. And I tell you what was really interesting about that case study, the thing that I find really fascinating about the Distel story, is that not only did their order values go up from using Aforza and having this end-to-end promotion execution, but the customer satisfaction, the net promoter scores went up too. Because you see, it's kind of simple. If you're talking to a customer and you're saying, let's see here, say you want to sell them, 10 cases of Savannah cider, and all of a sudden the sales rep is able to say, well, do you know what? I can't sell you cider right now, we're out of stock, but I've got promotion on cans. Can I sell you some cans? And by the way, your credit's good. Not only is the sale still going forward, the admin is reduced, the corrections are reduced, the customer is happy, he's getting exactly what he wants, and the net promoter score goes up. Sell more, make them happier. Kind of cool, right? So anyway, enough of me. I think we want to see some more demonstrations. Back to you, Candice. What have you got for the second demonstration? I think we'll talk about the indirect channel now.
Thanks, Dom. Well, we know that margin control and account profitability are equally important to monitor and ensure for your indirect sales channels as well as your direct. So in the first scenario, we saw how Karina, who is meeting with customers and taking orders directly during her visits, was able to capture perfectly priced orders. Now in this demo scenario, we're going to see how Tina, who is a key account manager, is able to manage and monitor her account's profitability, also while she is making certain that her contracts are margin controlled. She's also able to capture competitive insights when she's out in the field to send back over to HQ. We're also going to see how Richard, who works in commercial ops, is able to have all of the margin control information that's needed for him to be able to drive company growth objectives and attain targets. So very specifically in this demo scenario, we're going to see how Tina can monitor and easily ensure that her accounts are profitable through different tactics. So as she's preparing for her upcoming visit, we're going to see how she can guarantee that her investments into a new contract are controlled to make certain that they protect margin. And then she's also going to be able to capture competitive insights when she's out in the field that is immediately available to HQ for review and assessment for any competitive threats. And then we'll conclude this demo scenario with showing how Richard has all of the margin controls available to him through a simple dashboard to really drive profitability in commercial execution. So let's go ahead and get started with the second demo scenario. As introduced, Tina is a key account manager for Chuck Springs, and she uses Aforza to manage her accounts as well as her contract renewals. While her customers purchase directly from wholesalers, Tina manages contracts that have AMP investments and rebates based upon certain sales volumes. Tina manages a variety of accounts, and when she logs in, she can see her top performing products in addition to her most profitable accounts. And this guides her in making better decisions. She can also easily monitor contracts that are coming up for renewal. Tina is meeting with Fresh Start Bar next week, so she pulls up their account homepage to view account profitability. She also immediately sees the fact that they have a contract health score of 78, and she reviews further information on the page in order to prepare for her visit. As part of the objectives, Tina sees that in order for this contract to really be healthy and maintain a good profit margin, she needs to be performing at least 80% of the targeted sales volumes based on their investment of AMP. So she'll need to boost the contract sales volumes during the negotiation. She also checks out the account relationships to see that Fresh Start has other establishments and it purchases directly from new market distributors. This is really helpful information to her as she prepares for her visit. Back on the overview, she also sees the sales forecast versus actuals for the volumes that are coming in for the contract, and she notices a dip in recent sales volumes. So this is what must be impacting the health score, and she wants to understand any reasons behind it. So she drills into Fresh Start's contract, where she can review forecasted versus actual sales volumes. Tina has visibility into other key contract and account information, which helps her prepare for her meeting with Fresh Start. And as this contract is coming up for renewal and sales volumes are lower than expected, she decides a twofold approach. So Tina clicks on the segment tab in order to build out her plan. Fresh Start has automatically been tagged as being off target because their sales contract volumes are not being achieved. Tina wants to boost sales volume, so she flags them with this segment. This unlocks a contract workflow that she can use when she's meeting with Fresh Start. She also thinks that a competitor might be the reason for the decline in the sales volumes. So she flags the account for competitive research, and this provides another workflow for her when she's in the field meeting with the customer to capture and monitor competitive insights. Now let's see how this drives action for Tina when she's in the field meeting with the customer. Tina is now visiting Fresh Start Bar, who's an indirect account because they purchase directly from new market distributors. When Tina logs into the Aforza mobile app, her consoles provide everything needed to perform her job. She sees today's tasks and visit progress in addition to the latest marketing material to use in her accounts. Tina checks into the Fresh Start Bar, and her visit tasks have been dynamically assigned based upon the account's profile. Since the account was flagged for competitive research, Tina conducts an audit to capture pricing information and an image of the product's display in the bar, including all of the branded merchandise. These images are automatically tagged as competitive, which triggers a workflow notification to Tina for account planning when she's back at HQ. Back on her visit homepage, Tina can also conduct a quick audit of Chalk Springs products, noting pricing and placement. These insights are immediately available to Richard, who works in commercial ops, which helps him to drive new commercial programs. Her final task is negotiating a contract renewal. She's immediately able to see the contract profitability controls that are set into place. Here she needs to keep A&P spend under £5,000 in addition to monitoring other spend controls. Tina is guided to set up the contract dates and terms with a step-by-step process. She negotiates new volumes and investments, which enters then into the contract workflow. Tina completes the contract process by entering clauses. In this case, Fresh Start Bar must display new branded merchandise. Tina is really happy with how the contract has been renewed because she followed the margin control terms that will ensure profitability. Back at HQ, Richard, who works in commercial ops, has immediate visibility into how the contracts with customers are impacting margins. His margin breakdown dashboard provides insights into sales profitability by month, including the top customers such as the Duke of Retail. Hovering over the charts even provides more details. Richard also wants to monitor forecasted versus actual sales volumes across the entire year, in addition to monthly A&P spend, which seems to be going up. So it looks like investment is increasing, but there isn't a correlation to sales. And lastly, he monitors underperforming accounts and lapped customer contracts, so he can put strategies into place to get those accounts back on track. Richard is in the driving seat of his on-trade business, even when selling indirectly through wholesalers and distributors, because he has all of the insights needed to protect margins and grow sales profitability. So Dom, in summary, what we saw during the indirect demo was that Tina could prepare for her meeting with Fresh Start Bar, including assessing her account's current contract health and profitability. When renewing the contract, she had the margin controls into place to ensure she's investing at the right levels according to the sales volume commitments that they had. She was also able to capture key competitive insights, which is going to help her during future planning. She provided real-time insights to Richard, which means that he can understand how execution is driving sales revenues to really adjust commercial strategies as needed. Now it's back over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Candice. That's a really cool demo. So we've seen now both direct and indirect models being supported on Aforza with many facets for real-time controls of execution that are going to improve your margins. Take back control for your business in 2023. And one of the customers that I really love, and actually I see them creeping into more and more screenshots because I see the blue uniform in many parts of like our presentation today is Transmed. Transmed are the world's largest Procter & Gamble distributor. And you can see, actually this is a real photograph right here. This is one of their merchandisers actually doing a proof of performance for like a Procter & Gamble, my eyes are filming it, Procter & Gamble gondola end there. And these guys have got this now where they can actually measure all their promotion execution performance, and in partnership with Procter & Gamble, bring this all to life in real time. And this is like a really effective way of doing things. So we're super excited about what we're doing with Transmed in United Arab Emirates and across the Middle East. Really, really great customer. So, what have we learned from this? We're learning about the importance of margin control. We've learned about how things being in real time are important. And we've also learned that it's a journey, right? You're not going to try and do all of this at once. And we see when we talk about these customers, it is done one stage at a time. But you see, when you put in these foundational layers, when you figured out how to do the segmentations and how you're going to do order capture, pricing promotions, commercial policies, and all these things, what happens, you see, is you can accelerate the process. This is why I do like cars. I'm a fan of cars. So hopefully you like this chart, but this came from me actually because I like the concept of accelerating through these things, because as you sort out each channel, you can go on to the next one. So you might decide to start with something like telesales. Probably everybody's based in one place. You know, you can like literally see the results right in front of you, and it's kind of easier, to be perfectly honest. So you can start there. But once you've sorted out all those things, orders, promotions, pricing, you can move on to field sales, then get on to key account management, figure out how you're going to do distributors and wholesalers, and so on, through indirect channels like where you might be using messaging, digital commerce, all these different routes that take you straight to the consumer in real time. And yet all the pricing engines and segmentations are all centralized and controlled, but you've got this feedback loop with all of these things. It's cool, right? This is how you accelerate margin control. Did I mention it's about margin control? This is how you do it. Now, Aforza does not stand still. We've been running now for, actually at the time of this webinar, I guess we're not quite, but almost 4 years. And those 4 years, we've been pretty much sticking to 3 releases a year, right? So we're now actually, I think, approaching our 12th release. And you can see on this chart, the capability and innovation has been prodigious. We've had analyst feedback that says that our software is really good, but more important than that, it's the customers that are on this chart and the constant growth and adoption of the technology that really, really matters. And you see, yes, we're a very innovative company. Yes, we've got lots of fantastic ideas, but we listen. We listen very, very carefully to the needs of these companies, and it's definitely influenced our roadmap over time, because we're big believers in that business like this is about partnerships, long-term partnerships with a lot of listening. We've got great ideas for innovation. You've seen them in our demonstrations today, but our innovation is based on riffing with our partners and with our customers and constantly evolving and never ever standing still. And the important thing that I want to say about this slide as well is, if you're an Aforza customer, you're never left behind. You're not on a 20-year-old version of, I don't know, Siebel or something, or Stay in Front. Like, you're kept real time on the same version of software, just like everyone else. Just like you're using Google or Gmail or something, or if you're a Salesforce customer, it's exactly the same model. The innovation partnership goes on forever. You're never left behind. Never left behind in old stuff. So let's talk a bit now about, well, this sounds exciting and perhaps maybe a little bit intimidating, because it could be a real transformational change, but there's a way to make it not intimidating, and there's a way to guarantee success. And really, it's kind of common sense. It's about having some sort of crawl, walk, run approach. It's about how to start in the right place. Perhaps a business unit, perhaps a market, it might be a product category, it might be a particular channel. I personally think that starting perhaps with telesales is always a good one, because it's a great way to actually sort of learn about the technology and what you can achieve, and you're dealing with people in an office versus dealing with like field-based people that have feedback. But it depends. It depends. There's no hard, fast rule to this. What is important is to set achievable goals to start with, then expand to other business units, other markets, other product lines, and so forth. And then after that, it's like put your pedal to the metal. What's the expression? Put the pedal to the metal. Like that, accelerate that margin control, right? Then you can do it, go full bang, full steam ahead through all the other capabilities and through the rest of your business. Crawl, walk, run. But success does have 3 key ingredients. And I really want to take a moment to actually present this carefully, because this is probably, if anything, one of the most important slides in the entire story of what we're doing today. You see, the solution matters. It's not about the capabilities you've got. I often meet companies where they'll say, Dominic, that looks great, but I've got this solution and that solution, and we do this and that. I have all these capabilities, and we've kind of stuck it together. And I hear you, I appreciate it, but you need a solution which is agile, works end to end, and is giving you controls. You need to have controls that work in real time for your business. You need that. You just need it. You deserve it. You should have it. Second thing you need to think about is the approach. You need to think about where to start. You need to think about how to a start that's going to be really constructive. It's going to be valuable to your business, has a limited amount of risk of going wrong, easy to control, and you need to think about how that to iterate from that and to build on that success. And the third thing here is it's you, right? And I mean this very, very respectfully to everybody in the audience, but it's really to you, and it's about your understanding of your company's culture and how to either your leadership or your executive leadership and their ability to affect change. These 3 things are the key ingredients: the solution, the approach, and you. That's what you need to do. So, I want to thank Candice. I want to thank for helping, and everybody, by the way, just so you know, behind the scenes, a lot of people put a lot of brainstorming, hard work into these webinars. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be here to do some questions, but I want to talk about some call to action now for just to wrap things up. There's 2 things I'd like to say. One is, I think you should, if you liked what you heard, or you're fascinated to learn more, or want to understand just about many of these KPIs, for example, that you saw in the demonstration, we've got a fantastic resource, this Consumer Goods KPI Index, which has got special sections on margin control in it. Highly recommend that you get yourself a copy, and you can have a flick through that and get some ideas and inspiration, and look at some of the metrics that you can measure and see whether it applies to your business. But then the second thing I urge you to do is, if you have a margin control issue, and probably since you're on the call, there's something related to that. If you have a margin control issue, you should really sign up for like a workshop. Like, we would love to work with you to help you with your challenges and hear specifically the problems you face and partner with you to see if we can help. So 2 things there: get the KPI index and sign up for the your own special margin control workshop. Listen, I know you're really busy. There's a lot of things you could do with your time. I just want to thank everybody for investing some of it with me. And what I'm going to do now is go try and figure out how to do the Q&A. So give me a moment while I just switch over and see what the questions are. And let me figure out how to do that.